I call this regular meeting of the Nevada City Council to order Monday, April 10th, 2023, 6:00 p.m. Can we get a roll call, please?
Brian Hansen.
Here.
Barb Mittman.
Here.
Dane Nielsen.
Here.
Jason Sampson.
Here.
Steve Skaggs.
Here.
Sandy Eric. Here.
First item is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Dane, Jason, any discussion? None. Council, please vote. Agenda is approved. Takes us to public hearing. Public hearing A for fiscal year 2023-2024 budget. We'll open the public hearing on the budget. Did we receive any comments, Aaron? Is there anyone here to speak on the budget? What's that, Louis? We're talking about the 2023-2024 fiscal year budget. In total? Aaron, do you have that figure?
I don't. Just Karen.
Oh, is Karen back there? What's the total budget for the fiscal year, next fiscal year? Yes. Looking at everything. So, Louis, if you have comment on the budget, we'll have you go to the microphone there.
Okay, number one, and the Nevada Fair House, the building, that cost $20,000 roughly. And they could use that to fix the streets, number one. And how come people won't come to me? It's because you guys won't take it seriously. I mean, seriously, I'm speaking for other people. And that's how come people won't come, because you don't take it seriously. If you would, they probably come, but you don't listen to them. Let's see what else I got here. And number one, I think the street should be done first before I even start building that darn thing, because the money, it costs $20,000 and we got funds for it. I don't care. The three ones have to pay that probably, right? The taxes on that?
On what?
On that Nevada Field House, the building.
It is part of the city budget.
So the people in this town don't have to pay that?
So there's multiple funding mechanisms for the field house, largely there's private funds, there's grant funds, there's funds that we've had earmarked for quite some time.
Yeah, to say the senior centers who live in this town, they don't have to pay for the taxes on that.
It would be from folks within the city limits, and then we had a county grant and a state grant. So there would be.
I can tell you,
county
number one right now, the people who didn't vote for that. He says in this town did not vote for that. At all. No, they didn't. No, why in the heck we can't get the darn streets done before we spend money on that? So the Nevada people in this town should have a right to say what should be built in this town or whether you can use it for it. You know what I mean?
Well, Louis, here's the thing is we can't just take every dollar that we have and fix the streets.
I know it takes some time. Well, that doctor.
No. I'm talking about Louis, I'm not talking. I'm talking about
for that to build a street.
you look at that and you think we have $4 million that we should just go fix all the streets. Well, we can't do that.
Well, take it out of the taxes. The people that pay taxes, take it out of that.
People complain that taxes are too high now. You know what? Your taxes, my taxes, all of our taxes.
Oh, yeah, people say it's
If we said we're going to fix all the streets, holy moly.
right, but I put spend money to fix the street.
Every year. We fix streets every year.
Well,
Can't fix them all in 1 year.
well, I didn't mean it. I know you don't fix it away.
Fix streets every year. We do a major street project every single year.
Well, hopefully.
This year, it's what, it's S14 or West First Street, whatever, Lincoln Way.
Northwest,
Yeah.
S14, part of that will be replaced.
Oh.
In the 3-year plan, we have Lincoln Highway, We have several side streets that are going to be
Well, the
replaced.
one down by Big Eight Tire Center and Big Ace Hardware.
Okay.
That one's really bad.
I know, it's right in front of my house. It's horrible, but it's on the list and isn't gonna get done.
Okay, that's good.
It is what it
Now,
is.
at least we can, I think we should be able to get 2 done a year,
And we do take people,
done a year.
and I take offense that we don't take people serious when they come in here because we do.
Well, they don't, because that's what people told me.
Well, they need,
People told me.
they need to tell us.
Well,
Really, you're not the spokesman.
seriously.
You're not the spokesman for all those people. If they have problems, they complain to you, you tell them to come complain to us. Because it's not your place to complain for them. It's like my dog. It's like my dog.
Listen to it.
That's bull.
Don't take it seriously.
We do. We take everything seriously.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do. People think, you guys think that we just do what we want. We just have money to spend and fix
I
everything.
ain't saying that.
And if that's exactly what you just said.
No, I
You don't take them serious.
No, I'm not.
So I'm not gonna argue with you. You tell them to come in here. If they don't want to come in here, then you can't take them serious.
Here, let's go back to to actual items here, Louis.
You can listen to them and say you listen to them. Now they'll probably come.
We always listen to them.
Are there
If they don't get their way, then they can be mad. That's just how it goes.
other specific items, Louis, that you wanted to talk about?
There's a street that needs to be done, and I know it takes time. If we could get 2 of them done a year, that'd be great. And because I had a lot of people told me they come before you won't listen to them. A lot of them. And that's not going to take time because you think you guys don't take it seriously.
You tell them
Number
to come
one.
in here. Tell them to come in here and do what you're doing, then we'll take them seriously.
Or send.
Are you gonna if you're gonna give me that word? Are you gonna give me that word that you will take it seriously?
I take everybody that comes in here seriously, Louis. I'm kind of offended by it too, like Brian said. So let's cut it out, okay?
Okay, that's on the continent. But they're probably, but you better listen to them, take it seriously then. The South Dakota, they don't take it seriously. You guys don't. I hope we get some streets done and everything this year, at least 2 done per year. That'd be great.
Well, and the next item is going to actually be our capital improvement plan, which is approving the street plan, Louis. So
Well, that's good. And I'll give the street credit. Because there's a patch on 6th Street. Not 6th Street. Big Eight Tire Center and Ace Hardware. And they put asphalt down there, not this rock. I'll give street a little bit of credit. They put asphalt for that patch. So,
hey, Louis.
I know what you said.
So we'll close the public hearing on the budget, move to resolution number 83, 2022-2023, a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2023-2024 annual budget.
Move to approve.
Second. Barb, discussion. Seeing none, council, please vote. As approved, takes us to the capital improvement plan fiscal year 2023-2024. We'll go ahead and open that public hearing. This is where the street projects are actually listed out. Aaron, did we receive any comments? Seeing nobody remaining, we will close the public hearing. Move to resolution number 84, 2022-2023, resolution adopting the fiscal year 2023-2024 capital improvement program.
Move to approve.
Second,
Jason, Steve. No discussion, council, please vote. It's approved. Takes us to the consent agenda. Any item may be removed for separate consideration.
move to approve.
Second.
Barb, Brian, discussion. None, council, please vote. That is approved. Takes us to the public forum. Nobody else remaining. We will close the public forum. Move into old business A, ordinance number 1042, 2022, 2023. An ordinance amending chapter 106 of the City Code of Ordinances of the City of Nevada, Iowa, 2022 regarding the collection of solid waste, third and final reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Steve? Discussion, council, please vote. It is approved. Takes us to B, ordinance number 1044, 2022-2023. An ordinance amending chapter 65, stops required by vehicles entering stop intersection for additional stop signs on H Avenue, second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jason and Dane. Seeing no discussion, council, please vote.
Make a motion to waive the third reading.
Just gonna say the same thing.
Second.
Brian and Dane, discussion on that.
I actually had quite a few people reach out to me, which is kind of a unique situation with most of the stuff we do. But yeah, a lot of positive feedback. Couple people just wanted to know our reasoning, and I quoted Jason a couple times and some other stuff. So yeah, everything's been super positive, everyone I talked to about it. So I think it's a great deal. Once someone asked me about Steve, what's right in front of Steve's house? What did Steve said? I said, well, he's for it.
I'm in
He
favor.
understands and he's in favor of it.
Traffic needs to.
Yeah,
needs to
Yep.
lower that.
no, so.
Gives you a chance to get out of your driveway. If
That too.
Hey, I hadn't thought of that one. Yeah.
Can we voice vote?
Brian Hanson,
Aye.
Barb Whitman. Aye. Dane Nielsen.
Aye.
Jason Sampson,
Aye.
Steve Skaggs.
Aye.
Sandy Eric. Aye.
That is approved. Takes us to item C, approved pay request number 22 for wastewater treatment facility improvements phase 2 from Williams Brothers Construction Incorporated. The amount of $1,636,012.69.
Move to approve.
Second.
Brian. Session council, please vote. It is approved. Takes us to D, approved pay request number 7 for wastewater treatment facility improvements phase 4 from On Track Construction LLC. The amount of $773,866.77.
To approve. Second.
Dane. Session council, please vote. That is approved. Takes us to E, approved pay request number 9 for Field House from HPC LLC in the amount of $982,967.85.
Move to approve.
Second.
Dane. No discussion, council, please vote. Takes us to F, resolution number 85, 2022-2023. Resolution authorizing deed to dispose of real property.
Move to approve.
Second.
Barb, Dane. No discussion, council, please vote. That is approved. Takes us to new business A, resolution number 86, 2022-2023. A resolution to approve grant contract between wastewater and drinking water treatment financial assistance program and City of Nevada for City of Nevada wastewater treatment project.
Move to approve. Second.
Brian, Jason,
I seen that right. That's a $500 or $500,000 grant we got. Awesome.
no other discussion, council, please vote. That is approved. Takes us to B, resolution number 87, 2022-2023. Resolution setting date for public hearing on designation of the expanded Nevada urban renewal area and on urban renewal plan amendment.
Move to approve.
Second.
Dean Dane. No discussion, council, please vote. That is approved. Takes us to C, approved 5-day Class C retail alcohol license for Marcus Johnson, DBA Mucky Data Pub LLC, 220 H Avenue, effective April 14th through 18th, 2023, for Story County Legal Aid fundraiser.
Move to approve. Second.
Jason and Dane, discussion? None, council, please vote. And is approved. Takes us to discussion on appropriate follow-up regarding extension of contract with Rob Morgan, Rob's Tree and Stump Service for ash tree removal.
So this is an extension to the current service that we have with Rob's Tree Service. What prompted this was they did their contract did expire, so we did reach out to a couple of other tree service companies to ask for estimates, and we did not receive anything back from them, which was kind of surprising because this was all brought on by a competitor. So they did not submit, but we are submitting this so we can extend the contract. If you notice, it is a little cheaper than the previous contract, so we did get a little bit better deal for it. We do not have as many ash trees as we did. We had 70, I want to say around 79 in the last contract. We are finding a little bit more, and that's why we're extending that contract so we can keep eliminating those disease trees.
Those,
They didn't get them all done either, did they, last year?
They did not get all of them done, no. So they still have some.
so this is what he didn't get done plus what we have to do now.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the ones he didn't get done, is he doing them at that $600 cost instead of $675?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe it goes as it's going forward, it's going to be the $600.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I read it. I just want to make sure.
Prices don't normally go down. Especially this day and age, so good deal.
I'll move to approve option 1. Second.
Dane, Brian, discussion? None, council, please vote. That is approved. Takes us to report, starting with city administrator.
All right, I did reach out to the county engineer and talk to him about the speed limit over on West 18th. And what he was going to do is he was going to make the drive sometime today. Check all of the accident reports and to see if it makes sense to lower it. I did talk to him about lowering it down to 35. He said it might be pretty hard to lower at 20 miles per hour. But he was going to check everything out and then get back to me with what his thoughts were on it. So I'll keep you in touch on what he decides and what him and I discuss moving forward for that. I did reach out, or I did get contacted by Calvin. He is a new representative for MetroNet. We've gone through a few since I've started, but he is in charge of more on the multiple dwelling units. So I talked to him today about Flummerfeld's area, Lakeshore Drive area. So he is going to do a little bit more research and see if we can get that back into terms, or get them back over here so they can get their services utilized for that part. So he should be getting back to me relatively shortly, so you can
You make sure Southwoods is on the list too.
Southwoods, yep, I will. So downtown parking, I meant to get in touch with Erin late last week and talk to her about that, but some other things came up. And then Burke agreement, we have that going back through, so we're gonna, some of you, probably Brett, Karen, our city engineers did send all that out, so we will be reinitiating those conversations so we can get that agreement finalized and buttoned up for it. And then I've been getting phone calls from Genoptic, the security camera company, so I'm re-engaging with them to talk with them about West 18th as well as Highway 30. And once I bring them back in, I'll bring the other company that I was talking with as well, so we can figure out what the best deal is for the city. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I have the Rural Summit over at the Gateway Hotel that I will be attending with Brenda, and I think Brett will be there as well. And then next week we go to, Sandy. I mean, I think
Mike,
she's the one in charge of the whole entire event, so I hope she's going to be there. And then next week we head out to DC. Other than that, if you have any questions on my report or anything else, I'd be happy to answer them right now.
Moving on to reports, want to thank Barb for filling in while I was gone so I could go to my national meeting. And some other things have been going on. One, property taxes is back. They thought it was kind of gonna sit for this session, but after assessments hit mailboxes, it's back in the forefront of legislators' minds. So they do think something may actually happen this year. They're not sure what it's going to be. They expect the House to come up with a separate proposal, different than from the one they did at the beginning of session sometime this week. So we'll keep monitoring that. Obviously, I've been telling people if cumulative valuations go up like my individual one did, we'll be bringing that levy rate down to compensate because we'll be seeing the whole pot rise. So it depends on what it looks like when we see those numbers, which we won't see for a while, to see how it affects future budgets. So I think that's another thing they don't understand too, is not going to affect what they're paying right now or this year. This is down the road a ways, couple years at this point budget cycle. So yeah. Anyway, other than that, Jefferson Highway continuing to meet about their event. They'll be coming through Nevada June 6th at noon. So they'll be making Nevada the lunch stop, and more details will be forthcoming, but you'd all be invited to participate in that. 2040 follow-up meeting went well, and so we've got some follow-up things from that, and also continuing to talk to the county about other road projects in the vicinity and kind of what the future of those look like. Questions for me? Council reports.
I would just report that David Williamson was back this afternoon and he will be working with 3rd and 4th graders April 27th. He's all set to do that and continuing on the what's cool about Nevada and how do we turn that into some sort of public art. And right now he's really working on music. So he has like 5 or 6 different original pieces that he shared with us this afternoon. He was working with this seniors potluck, which he said he had a couple people dancing today. So he was pretty excited about that, like struck a nerve. And he will be in town that evening, April 27th at the Camelot. I just confirmed that with Krista. So that will be an opportunity. I think we decided 7. Figure that out. That evening to hear these original songs. He's working with Pat Bodie of Public Television, and she's a harpist. So he also requested if there's an opportunity at all to share any of this with the Lincoln Highway Days events, that he would need to get that scheduled and figure that out soon. But I think it's pretty exciting, and what that leads to, we're still, it could be more tangible kinds of art besides the music. So it's still a work in progress.
I did see the art at the Butterfly Garden the other day.
Yes.
That looked beautiful. So should have stopped taking a photo, but that really stood out. Coming with the horse.
It's really cool. And our own Kelsey Wilson, who did that work, is also just in the news for helping with a $100,000 grant that Jefferson got to continue her work with Imagination Alley there. So there's a big circle here of things that are connecting, I think.
If there's something final product song wise, that we have the second stage at Pizza Palooza that there might be break time to put a song into. Looking at Dane, but let us know if we should look at that.
Well, let's see how the April 27th goes, and then
Yeah,
if
'cause
people
we're
say
May
let's-
13th, so you can let us know if that's
They're
something we
real-
should look for time on the schedule for.
it's a real variety of music, wouldn't you say, Jordan?
It is, yeah. Slow, some fast, some kind of country, some rock and
Kind of
roll.
melancholy, yeah.
Their council reports.
To follow up on the 11th and H, the stop signs being, I think Jason said it best, being proactive instead of reactive. I've spent quite a bit of time the last 2 weeks at Billy Sunday Field. I think we've talked about this in the past, about the kids crossing the road. I really think we need to look into doing something. I mean, I don't know what everyone else's opinion. I'd encourage anyone that has some time to go sit down there. It's frightening. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea to make it a permanent stop, but I was just thinking in my head, and that's why I wanted to say to everybody, so maybe everybody can think about it, you guys. You know, I wish Joe was here, but he's not. Tim's here though. You know, I don't know if we could do like a crossing thing where you can push the button and it flashes or something, you know, and I know there's cost to all that, but I did notice too, sitting there, that a lot of people have been starting to drive through the cemetery. They're driving through the cemetery, they're driving down in the grass down by, you know, Gene's shed and dropping their kids off there because they don't want them crossing the road. Well, I think we all know that the cemetery isn't made to have that kind of traffic all the time. You know, maybe that cost down the road would offset if we did something with some sort of crossing. And I don't know what the right thing to do is, but it's bad. I mean, it's bad down there. And we have a great area for them down there. I mean, there's no question. It's a great area, but I think we really need to maybe concentrate on making it a little bit safer. You know, like I said, if it's something that you push the button, I think most kids get it. I think most kids are old enough, they know.
They've done with
A lot of them
sensors.
are with their parents anyway, but they're still running out in the road. Even when mom's yelling at them, you know, if they, and kids think it's funny to, so I don't know if that push the button really light it up. We could do it with solar, hopefully that we wouldn't have to spend a bunch of money on electronics. I don't know what the right answer is, but it's not good down there.
I'm hearing potentially you'd like staff to investigate potential
Yeah,
safety options.
You
at
know,
that
like I
corner.
said, I don't know what everyone else's opinion is, but I did. I had quite a few phone calls actually, so I just went down there a few nights and just sat there in my pickup.
I heard about the
Besides, wow.
cemetery thing the other day too.
Yeah, yeah. So
And there was the police sign was down there for a little bit, what, 3 weeks ago, maybe? At the beginning of the season.
yeah, the speed trailer. Yeah,
Yeah, that's like,
you know, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the best thing to do is. We almost have to stop them.
Speed bumps.
I think we almost have to stop traffic, but I don't know that we want to stop it every day, all day.
4 hour day.
You know, so if that's a push the button type thing, you know, like when you cross the street in a big city, I don't know. I don't know what's available. I don't know what our options are, but
Oh, well,
just my observation for sitting down there. It's scary. I remember when I coached soccer, I always parked on the outside. Remember, Steve? I used to pull up over by the Kaibo on the outside and park and because it was, you know,
Fortunately, in a few years, that's 14 will be closed and that'll reduce traffic quite a
Yeah.
bit. But we do need to get there, so.
yeah. Yeah.
That's not being said, if we have something there now, we can't pick it up and move it somewhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyway, FYI for everyone.
we'll have staff
Our
dig
little
into it.
traffic study.
Other reports.
We had a Lincoln Highway Day Committee meeting last Friday. Just still looking at different possibilities of adding different things, waiting on some feedback from people. Looks like we're gonna have a car show. Should be a pretty good sized car show. Can't say where it's gonna be at because we don't know for sure yet, but over 50 cars is what we're hoping for. So stay tuned.
Other reports. Right.
Good evening. Just a couple of things. We were not successful in getting our fire extinguisher training prop through Firehouse Subs. And that was the same day we were notified that we received the FEMA grant for the fire extinguisher training prop. So it all worked out in the end. We're really excited about that. We partnered with Colo. Chief Cladd is really excited that they'll have that capability to teach people. That's our number one request for the fire department for training is fire extinguisher training in addition to CPR training. Just so you know, we're entering grass fire season. It's extremely dry and we're catching a lot of grass fires here lately. So most of them are fires that people intended to burn and it got out of hand because it's so dry. They don't have a water source and it's just taken off on them. We're working with several folks. We're in the infancy stage of doing a community risk reduction, actually a community risk assessment on our community to determine where the future goes. And it's not just about fire. I was talking to a police sergeant, Andrew Henderson, and we were talking about the financial crimes and scams that lead to mental health problems, to suicide, to a lot of things going on. So there are a couple of you that I may be reaching out to that people have requested that you should be a part of that, like Barb with opioids and stuff like that. So, and maybe another tasking in your calendar if you're up for it. But we're looking at a 2-month process with a couple of meetings and basically trying to gather the data demographics of our community to assess where we're going to go in the future and what are our risks. So some of the federal grants will be tied to having a valid community risk assessment. So I think it'll pay off for us and other avenues too. Brian and I have several pre-construction meetings set up and construction meetings. So I can tell you that the city is growing. So for those of you, I met a person at the feed store at Precky's that said Nevada is the same old Nevada. No, it's not. We have been very busy and there's a lot going on with growth. And I think you're going to start to see that pre-construction meetings downtown and out at the industrial park. So there are folks that are definitely planning on building. And then the last thing I have is May 5th, we have the pre-construction meeting for our fire engine out at Breda, and 6 of us on the truck committee are scheduled to go look over that. Just kind of put everything in place so there's no change orders throughout the process. That's all I have.
Aaron. Now that I know you're hiding behind the owl. Is the owl muted? The light's on.
Everything worked when I tested it
Okay.
before the meeting.
Well, his red light's on, so hopefully he's getting sound.
I just wanted to clarify one thing. The 4 million I spouted earlier is the property tax expense only. The total budget is 41 million, over 41 million. So I just wanted to clarify so everybody knew that. The only other thing really is Aaron and I went to a conference last week and came home with some pretty good ideas we're going to try and implement, and we have another one next week. So lots of training this month. You have any questions? All right. I'll start with Nevada Economic Development news first. Just a reminder, the business breakfast is April 26th, 7 a.m. at Gatherings. We'd love to have you join us. So you can either connect with me, Jordan will get me the message. We'd love to have as many of the council there as possible. I know I heard from one of you that you have a conflict, but again, it would be great to have you there. I'm going to talk a little bit about human service funding. So I'm going to put my Nevada Foundation hat on. So the foundation board met earlier, late last week. The days are starting to run together. Met late last week, and they'd like to propose to the city council that we actually kick off the human services funding earlier. And be careful again how we craft the announcement that we anticipate that funds will be available after July 1. I know you've set the budget, but if we would kick off the funding cycle, have applications due by the end of May, we would utilize June to actually have those scored, have the committee actually meet in person this time to review it, and then come back at your second council meeting in June with recommendations on who should be funded ahead of the July 1 timeline. So again, just finding out if there's any concerns with us proceeding with that plan, and more or less making sure we're all on the same page. And obviously you're very helpful in getting out the word that those funds are available through the foundation. We'll put it out on our website. We'll put it, ask Marla to share it in the city. This gives us hopefully time to maybe stick it in our Nevada for the May issue and continue to push that out. So if for some reason we don't utilize all the funds, that would also give us, if you desire to work with us on a second round of funding for the upcoming fiscal year on getting grants out to the groups. Because we push the groups, they'll need to have their funding spent by the end of this fiscal year, since it's fiscal year money. So it was kind of a short window, and getting feedback that they'd like a little longer. So I'd look to some of the other foundation board that was, anything else I've missed as it relates to.
The only thing I
Human
would say
service
to
funding.
council is the folks who previously had received money through the city process were reached out to. We had a community member concerned that maybe some of those groups maybe didn't click or whatever reason. So if you hear of people say that certain group didn't get the info or didn't know about the info, make sure we
Yeah,
let Brenda know so we can follow up, because it could have been that this person talked to may not have known what the left hand was doing, and maybe somebody in the organization knew, but not the person that was spoken to. So for whatever reason, want to make sure everybody knows about it.
so we sent the notice to everybody that had gotten funding previously, even knowing that some of them are in the business of not providing basic needs, trying to over communicate, but when you change a process and it's new, it does always take a bit of time. So we'd like to just make sure that we give them ample time to be able to use a whole year of funding, hopefully, and get the dollars out quicker. So
The other thing the board talked about was doing another capital project to come up with private money that's similar, that might cover some of the entities that don't fit the criteria the council sets. It's narrower to try to give other community groups some opportunity with some private dollars that's outside of the city audit. So that way it doesn't have the same concerns about public purpose. So that's another, so two-pronged approach the foundation's gonna take.
forgotten all about that. You know, we use the kind of community chest sort of initiative, but pushing that out and trying to garner dollars to fund things that we can't fund on the basic needs side of things. Any concerns if we start a little early, so as soon as we get a press release together, we'll route it to all of you. We'll route it through the foundation and get to the business of, I'll do another workshop or two on filling out the applications so that we're available to handle folks that have questions on that as well.
Is there a way for us to do a second round within the fiscal year? I know they've got to be used within that time.
Well, I guess that's one thing, Jason, I was thinking, I mean, if we do not utilize all the funds with this first round, and say if you've allocated up to 40, is that what's in the budget again next year? And we have $28,000 worth of requests, and the board decides that all of them meet the requirements and the intent of supporting basic needs within the community of Nevada. You know, we could come back and do a smaller round.
But we didn't do that this year.
We did not, because we launched it half year. So they only had a half year to utilize the funds. So there wasn't time for 2 cycles because we didn't launch it last summer.
We did talk about whether we nag Karen to see if there's a way to do a second one this year, but the group thought it might be better just to start the next cycle now.
Jason, are you thinking summer meal program? Thinking summer meal program?
Just people have an opportunity that maybe not did it first time around.
And that's why we want to go early, Jason. So
Right.
we think we've missed a lot of people that were afraid they couldn't spend it in just the short amount of time that they had. So they didn't apply. So that will
At least-
hopefully, that'll
I think we
hopefully
should have a
alleviate
plan
that.
of, if there is money left over, that we should be going out a second time.
Well, I think we'll know,
next fiscal
we'll know
year,
at the
yeah.
end of June. If we're hoping that we can approve it by the end of June, then we'll know.
And because we
And then
talked
if
about
have Left, I don't know why we couldn't. push
doing
it out
another
there.
round to be awarded like by January 1. So
Oh,
we
I
have
did
the
not react.
6 months at the end of this fiscal year.
Well, I think we also have to remind people, it's a whole new process.
Yeah.
So we're just learning as we go, and I think it's great. I mean, I kind of looked into it too, as far as could it even be an open window in the time frame for applications? So we are continually having that opportunity for people to apply, you know, which happens with some grant programs. So
Yeah,
there's
and
a few things.
I think that, you know, there's always that urgency that may come up late. And again, I think let's say we're overwhelmed with applications, at least it sends a message to the council that we've got a huge need. And you know, I think if I don't want to speak for the foundation, but if we had a huge need come forward, I hope that we could be compelled to go out and raise some dollars to support that if we needed to as well. But if there's funding left over, I think we just plan on that that grant rating cycle that kicks off around the holidays, and we make those awards in January, so they have 6 months, and we utilize as much of the 40,000 as we can, so.
I think to Sandy's point too, let's say somebody's fridge and freezer go out now, I think we'd have an ability to figure out how to use the money that was left over from this cycle to expedite it to them as an emergency grant.
There was a lot of good conversation around the need for doing a private sector fund so that we can be prepared for. And I think there was a real commitment from the board to wanting to do that, so.
That's great. I mean, that was one of the real motivations behind moving to the foundation with this opportunity to have private dollars to do other things. So
I would think we have identified potential times of the year we can target certain fundraising efforts and yeah, there was lots of good chatter. I think we saw logos of funds and
Oh, yeah, we've had traction in a week. It's amazing the stuff that we've got.
Yeah,
done
so
already. Yeah.
I think that board wants to be more involved. So I think
Right.
I'll thank the council that it's spurred some good conversation and we'll get moving on the funds and plan on being here sometime in July to present what the board has will be recommending, or what has been recommended for approval to the foundation board. So. Yep. Any questions, economic development or foundation? I know it's a nice evening. I'll move.
Thanks for that. Thank you, Tim.
I would just thank Tim and his staff for making sure that the sculpture at the butterfly garden was installed, and it's really nice, and everybody should
How long has it been?
take a
I
minute.
was gonna ask.
Week.
Okay, I'm glad it was new because I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. It looks great.
Hello. Same topics. So training, we have a lot of conferences and trainings that are going on this spring. So various officers getting experience. It's kind of nice to see them able to kind of expand out. In addition to that, Officer Sidness is in the last month of his EMT training, so he'll be able to go on and do the national testing after that. As the report says, we're going through the hiring process for our 1 patrol officer position. The 2 that passed physical agility have some steps to go through to continue on, and we're working through that. We're actively going out to Billy Sunday and doing some GTSB. So I've spent several days out there, and I know that sign was posted, just trying to slow them down as much as we can with the hours we have. And then we're, since the springtime, working on nuisances, and it's been great working with Ryan. We usually bug him about it, and he lets us know what he's done, and we could assist with that. So trying to get the nuisance program started and moving forward with that for the spring. So answer any questions about the report if you have them.
Ryan?
I'm good unless you guys have questions.
Same here. I'm good.
You have our monthly report. It's actually 2 months. So that's all I have.
Mike's online. Anything you'd like to report?
If there's any questions about the wastewater plant project, I'd be happy to answer them.
Nothing for me?
Anything else before we adjourn?
Like,
Jane, Jason, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Please say nay. We are adjourned.
Aaron, I really like a real water report just for.
I know.